Hi everyone, Quiveen here from the comfort of my kitchen. In today's video, we are going to take a quick look at a few different meteor showers, beginning with the meteor showers that are peaking at the moment in late July, and then we'll take a look ahead to the meteor shower that will be peaking once we come into August, not quite mid-August, just a little bit before. So we're starting with sunset here on the 28th of July. We'll need to move a little bit later for the radiance of all of the meteor showers to come up. So these are some of the meteor showers that we're interested in. Okay, so that is all of those above the horizon. And if we zoom back, there we go, that is the rest of them. So this does show the radiance of all of the meteor showers that we're really interested in for the moment. If we click on a few of them, we'll see the dates at which they're peaking. So we can see this one here, the Pisces Ostrinids, in the constellation of the southern fish. We can see that it's peaking there on the 28th of July. So it's only a zenith hourly rate of 5, 3 or 0, so we're not really seeing too many of those because the radiant is so low in the sky and because we're viewing them initially from here in a city. And moving up to the southern delta acarids, they're a bit better. The southern delta acarids provide a few more meteor showers. Their maximum there is on the 30th of July. We're seeing 25 and 20 here. So if we move through a couple of days, we'll see those numbers change. But because we're already seeing, well, we've moved through to the 29th, but that's okay. We started on the 28th and moved through to the 29th. We can see that we're already pretty close to the peak numbers here, but they do go up as we move through to the 30th and then back down again as we move through to the 31st. So different meteor showers, the times at which they peak have a different influence on how many meteors we're going to see. Some meteor showers have a very, very narrow peak, so we really only see their maximum on the day that they're peaking, and we see very little on the dates around their peak. For other meteor showers, we're going to see a slightly wider range. So even though they're at their maximum during their maximum at their peak, we can still see quite a few on the days either side. So for example, the southern delta acarids there. If we take a look at the alpha capricornids again, we can see they're also peaking on the 30th of July, maximum zenith hourly rate of 5. We're seeing 3 there on the 29th. Goes up to the expected 5 once we move through to the 30th, and then back down to 4 once we move through to the 31st. We are looking at all of these times just a little bit after midnight, so it's really better to say early on the morning of the 29th. If you wait until midnight on the 29th, then you're going to be seeing these things as we move into the 30th. Moving from the Alpha Capricornids up to the July Gamma Draconids here, we can see that they're also peaking on the 28th, zenith hourly max of 5 and 4 for the current. So we can see that these meteor showers are all peaking around the end of July. Most of them have pretty small maximum zenith hourly rates, and we can see that the ones that are peaking on the 28th, they're both peaking on the 28th, so we'll come back to the actual 28th, 2 o'clock in the morning on the 28th, so it's just become the 28th. We can see that the Pisces Ostrinids there have 5. The July Gamma Draconids up there are producing 4-ish, and the anti-Helion point there about 4 as well. So these different meteor showers are all contributing to the amount of meteors that we're seeing in the sky. The anti-Helion is part of the default background rate, which is normally about 10. So we'll start with 10. We'll start with a zenith hourly rate of 10 and then add on 5 and 5, bringing us up to 20. So we can do that in here. So here we go. There's our normal rate of 10. We can pick that up to 20 with reasonable amount of ease. That's a standard Orionids rate. So that's a standard rate for a reasonably small shower. And we're looking at multiple reasonably small showers here. If we pull back and take a look at the sky, we would have to wait quite a bit of time to see any meteors passing the sky. If we see 20 meteors an hour passing the zenith here, there's 60 minutes in an hour, so it's going to take several minutes before we see one meteor crossing the zenith. These things are, of course, a little bit better if we take away the light pollution. There we go. So there's the light pollution taken away. We're looking at the whole sky. If I move through time like this, then we won't see any meteors, even though you'd expect the number of meteors we'd see to increase because we're moving through time at a higher rate, so we should see more meteors. When we move through time at those elevated rates, we actually don't see any meteors. The meteors sort of stop. But we're looking at the sky here, and at a background rate of 20, we're not even seeing any meteors in a truly dark sky. We would see a few if we waited long enough, a few would pop up. We are after bringing the radiant of another meteor shower into view, the Eta Eridanids. They're peaking on the 7th of August, and if we go and click on the Perseids here, we can see that the Perseids are peaking on the 12th of August. So there's a couple of meteor showers coming up in the early part of August, but we can see that the Perseids, their zenith hourly max is at 100. Now we're several days before their peak, where we're a week or so, a couple of weeks before their peak. So of course we're seeing no meteors really from them, even though their activity does run from the middle of July through to the end of August. With these meteor showers that have very long ranges of activity, we're really not going to see many at all outside of the day of their peak, or as I mentioned with meteor showers like the southern delta acarids, for a few days either side of their peak. We can see with the Eta Eridanids here, they're not producing very many meteors either, and there aren't other meteor showers peaking at the same time as them. So while we have the Pisces Austranids and the July Gamma Draconids all peaking at the same time, none of them are particularly big, but at least they're peaking at the same time, so at least we're getting a contribution from all of them. If we move a couple of days, we'll move forward to the 30th, so we're 3 o'clock in the morning here on the 30th. The Alpha Capricornids are giving the 5 that we'd expect their maximum to be, and we'll say that the Southern Delta Acarids are giving 25, so that would be 30 on top of the 10 that we already have. That would bring us up to 40. So here we go, 40 meteors an hour. We've increased the zenith hourly rate, and taking a look at the sky from the countryside with no light pollution at all, we should start seeing some meteors, but again, we're only going to see one every couple of minutes. 40 meteors an hour and 60 minutes in an hour, we're not quite going to see a meteor every minute. So it would take a while for the meteors to come through in the sky, and of course I don't want to just sit staring at a screen for minutes and minutes waiting for the meteors to come up. That wouldn't make for a very entertaining video, I'm sure. So we will increase the meteor rate. But I wanted to be clear, there is some excitement about the meteor showers that are peaking in late July, and there is a lot of them. There are 4 meteor showers peaking in late July, which is quite a few. We've got the Pisces Austranids and the Alpha Capricornids peaking on the same date, the 28th, so their peak has just passed, but even around the 29th we should still see some meteors from them. The Southern Delta Acarids and the July Gamma Draconids, they're peaking on the 30th. We've spent a little bit of time, I hope I've talked through it well enough, but we've spent a little bit of time now letting time pass by to give the chance for any meteors to come through, and we just haven't seen them. Now the Eta Eridanids, if we move forward to the 7th of August, and of course we are coming pretty close to August now, we can see that some of the meteor showers, the July Gamma Draconids for example, they disappeared because we're out of their range of activity. New meteor showers have popped up, and we'll come back to the 7th. So there they are, a zenith hourly rate of 2 compared to its max of 3. We're pretty close to its maximum, 1 meteor of a difference. The Kappa Cygnids up there, they're not peaking until the 18th of August, and the northern Iota Acarids, I do believe that's an Iota, they're not peaking until the 21st, and they're noted to be variable. So some of these meteor showers are a little bit more consistent than others. We'll keep pushing forward. We'll push all the way forward to the 12th, so we can see, of course, the moon is there, which is unfortunate. The extra light of the moon is going to limit the amount of meteors that we see in the sky, and we're seeing there a rate of 72. Now, we're just starting the 12th. Yes, if we move forward to after midnight on the 13th, we've moved through the 12th. The Perseids are higher then. So later on the 12th, or even a little after the 12th, is when we're going to see them closer to their peak. But let's just say that they're contributing 100. Let's imagine that they're doing the absolute max that they could, even though that's not guaranteed. So now we've got 110, 100 on top of the base rate of 10. That's the standard Perseids rate according to Stellarium. So we'll take another look at the sky here, and hopefully we will get a meteor coming through. Now, we've got all of these radiants in the sky which are going to clog things up. We can get those out of the way. The stars shouldn't clog things up too much because, of course, they're fixed points in the sky. It's not too hard to tell the difference between a meteor flying through the sky and a fixed point like a star. But just to be safe, we're looking here at a night sky in the countryside. We can still see the glow of the Milky Way there, and Uranus is being suggested as a tiny little dot. We're looking at a sky for the Perseid meteor shower, standard Perseid rate of 110, which is potentially a little higher than you might actually see, especially if you're suffering with things like light pollution. Unfortunately, we do have the moon there, which is the realistic state of affairs for this year. That's where the phase of the moon will be. And even wasting a few seconds there, we're not seeing a meteor, even though we should be seeing more than one a minute. We should be seeing a couple of meteors a minute. If we're getting 100 an hour and there's only 60 minutes in an hour, we should be getting a few meteors a minute. You may have seen a faint one just there, but of course some of them are going to be faint, some of them are going to be difficult to see. We'll get rid of the atmosphere and we will get rid of the moon, even though that brings us to the wrong date. Really, the background meteor rate of stellarium will stay the same. So we're looking at the sky almost as dark as it could possibly be, you know, darker than it could actually be in real life, because in real life we have the stars. We're looking at a standard Perseid rate 110 on completely the wrong date just to get the moon out of the sky. And other than maybe seeing a faint meteor there a little bit earlier, I'm just not seeing any in the sky here. Maybe I've missed one. Hopefully I've missed one. Maybe you'll see more if you're watching this video yourself, and hopefully we will see more in the real sky. But I wanted to give a realistic comparison between the number of meteors that we're going to see at the end of July and the amount of meteors that we're going to see in mid-August. That's not to say that you shouldn't go looking for the meteors in late July. We'll just have a better chance of seeing them in August than we would in late July. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do like it. If you enjoy this kind of content, then you can subscribe to this YouTube channel. You can also take a look at my website where I have this information written down if you'd like to read it. So thank you very much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you back here next time.